Summer's here. Um, Almost. If you live in Quebec like me, summer's not here yet. But I like to call summer by looking at all the beautiful knits I could make when summer comes. Today we're going to be talking about 4 patterns that I knitted, wore, approved for the summer. And we're going to be talking about a few more that I'm itching to put on my needles. Let's start by talking about what I'm wearing, because I wanted to make an effort today to look a little summery, but it was 0 degrees Celsius outside this morning, so it's not quite t-shirt weather in Montreal at all. But I did put on the makeup, put on the t-shirt, and put a long sleeve tee underneath so I could wear my t-shirt for you today on this summer themed video. Obviously, the one I'm wearing is one of the many patterns that I adore for summer. This one is called the Rocket Tee by Tanis Lavallée, and it is originally made from a fingering weight yarn, and it is striped with a mohair. And people are gonna be a little confused by the choice of yarn for the summer because yes, it is a merino wool and a mohair, but wool is very, very good at keeping your body temperature, at a good place. It will wick moisture away from you. It will keep you kind of stable in your temperature. So personally, I love wearing wool fibers in the summer. We will talk about fibers on a next video. So today we're going to be concentrating on the actual patterns, but I did want to mention it real quick because don't be put off by the fact that this sweater is made with mohair and with merino wool. It is absolutely amazing. It is wide, so there's space to breathe. It has a low V-neck, not super low, but low. So all these things help the breathability of the garment, and the fact that it is knit at a looser gauge. It is perfect for the summer. It has I-cord borders on all the edges. I love that look. It creates a garment that flows really well and doesn't stick to the body, which I really appreciate when it gets warmer. Mine is knit in the handspun, 100% BFL. I still wear it all summer long. Yes, in Montreal it gets really hot, and some days I might not wear this one, but most days I will. I love the little detail here on the raglan. It is a raglan with a detail going down the raglan and the side, and it is A+. You can absolutely knit it in a bunch of different fibers, which we're going to talk about in the next video. Second pattern to knit for the summer that I knit is this one here. This one is called the Velen by Camille Descoteaux. It is, as well as, you can see a trend here. I do like V-necks a lot more in the summer than I like them in the winter. So V-neck with a very subtle little picot edging at the bottom of the sleeves and at the bottom of the t-shirt, and a super cute little textured stitch and a, this kind of sleeve. I don't remember what these sleeve caps are called right now, but they are absolutely perfect. I really love this pattern so much that I actually decided to make it into a dress. So mine is not a t-shirt, it's a dress, and I absolutely adore wearing this dress. It is made out of a 50% merino, 50% silk yarn, so it is very drapey because of the silk. The silk keeps your body temperature real cool and nice. Really, if you're looking for a pattern that has a nice flow to it, but like it has a nice drape, and the little textured pattern is super simple but adds a little extra oomph, this is a great choice with a great fit. Go check it out. I would absolutely knit another one of those. All the ones that I'm talking to you right now, I would knit multiple times, no questions asked, because I wear them quite a lot. I used to not have a lot of summer garments, and now that I do, I really wear them a lot. So Tried and true. The next one, I cheated. I said I was going to talk about 4 patterns, but this one is about, 10 because it's a designer. I do own multiple different garments made out of patterns from Jessie Made Designs. Jessie Made makes very young, hip, uh, tank tops and t-shirts, and personally I adore that fit. I am a petite person. I adore the stretch that all her garments that are in ribbing gives, and I like the cuts. I really do love wearing a tank top. So if tank tops are not your style, maybe you'll find a little bit less options for you within Jessie Made Designs work, but she does have a few t-shirt patterns as well. This one is the My Little Secret crop, and I really love the high neckline here. It's kind of a, I don't know how you call those necklines, but it's like a square neckline that goes really high, and I absolutely adore the cut of this one. It's quite short. I used a bunch of different yarns in this one, and I marled it, but I would knit it again in one single color because I wear it quite a bit. So Jessie Made Designs, go check her out. Might be your style, might not, because it's very much a style that you either love or don't. I personally love everything she does for the summer, like everything. Everything except the ruffles. I'm not a ruffles kind of person. The last one that I'm going to talk about that I actually knit, that one will come and kind of open up a whole lot of possibilities, because that one is a pattern that uses the gauge to kind of challenge your idea of what you can do with a certain yarn. It is a sweater pattern that has quite a big gauge, and the pattern shows you how you can take that same gauge, use a different yarn, a much thinner yarn, and get a more summery garment. And if you haven't heard about that one, I'm going to be very surprised. But if you have not heard about that one, please write it in a comment, because I'd love to know you. It is the Ranunculus. I don't know how to say it. That's okay. It is this lovely, beautiful sweater. The yoke of this design is what shines. Obviously, it is this, fake cables and a little bit of lace work in the yoke. And if you go check out how many projects there are on Ravelry with this pattern, it is out of this world, because the designer made it a point to show people that you can make it into a very big sweater that is for the winter with long sleeves and mohair and, all that. Or you can use a fine yarn, and yes, it's going to be see-through a little. So this is the gauge on a, fingering weight yarn. It is very open, but because it is very open, it is very summery, because I can wear this and it feels like I'm wearing almost nothing. It feels very light, very drapey, because I used a linen and alpaca blend, and I throw it on top of a camisole and I'm good to go. I love, love, love wearing this t-shirt. Midori Hirose is the designer for this one, and the one thing I would change that she has you do for the short sleeve, or actually the no sleeve version, because I do believe she has a long sleeve version. She has some people knit it with short sleeve, where you pick up the sleeves after you've knitted the sweater, and then you knit a little bit of sleeves and then some ribbing. And I did the no sleeve version, which means that when you get to the point where you're separating the sleeves from the body, you actually bind off all the sleeve stitches, and then you cast on the body stitches and you keep knitting, so you don't come back to it. And one thing that I wish I had done is keep them live, so I can come back and do a little I-cord edging at the end, because what happens is it creates this quite big hole at the armpits. I still wear it all the time because it is not a make or break deal, but if I were to do it again, I would change that part. It used only one skein of yarn for me, one single tiny little fingering weight skein, and I know you could knit it in only mohair and it would do the same thing. You could use one skein. Would you use 2 skeins of mohair? Because how much yardage is there in a 50 grams of mohair? That's a good question. But I used a 100 gram of fingering to make one sweater. Completely crazy. And so what I'm saying is this is kind of could be challenging your expectations and could be opening up a lot of options for you, because this shows you that you can use a lot of different patterns that are not meant to be t-shirts and turn them into t-shirts. First off, the simplest way is just to not knit the sleeves, to come back and just knit a little bit of the sleeve and that's it. But if you feel like your gauge or your pattern is too thick of a fabric for a t-shirt, then you could also change the yarn for a smaller yarn, but still use the same needles and get roughly the same gauge and knit the same thing with less density. Again, it's not going to create the same result as if you knit with the thickness of yarn they're expecting you to use, but that's where you can really have fun with knitting. So those are the 4 that I've knit, 4+. And here are the ones that I'm really wanting to knit this year. So the first one is the Baigneuses by Emily Lewis. She has this, it's a tank top, but it's a, you know, more like a vest style tank top, which is no skinny, you know, straps or anything. And just the detail of the shaping around the armholes, the high collar. It is very classic, and it's a kind of tank top that I could see myself knitting in a classic colorway that I could wear with anything in any situation. You can throw a jacket on top of it to make it more, you know, professional, or you could leave it as is. You could use it at the beach. You could really wear it in any occasion. So that one I'm gonna absolutely be knitting. It's in a sport weight yarn. She's using a 50-50 merino tencel. So I'm gonna try and use a yarn that has similar properties, but I'm very excited about that one. The second one is not new. It's been around for a while, but it's 100% linen, and it's the staple linen top by Joji Locatelli. That top is also really nice, and I have knit only one garment with 100% linen, and I really want to kind of delve deeper into that. So I think it's something that I really would like to make. I love the front center panel of that garment. I think it's very classy and very nice, like most Joji patterns. She's really a great designer. And the last one but not least is the Gelato Tank top from Gabrielle Vezina. The little detail in the front, the little triangle with, like, you know, all that texture, I think is so cute. I like a spaghetti strap tank top. I know it's not everybody's preference, but I personally wear them all the time. I used to wear, before I was a knitter, I would wear, you know, in the summer, almost exclusively tank tops. And so this comes back to like what I love. So this one is something that I'm really looking forward to knitting as well. I love that you can knit, you know, something out of one skein of yarn. That to me appeals appeals to my, you know, the fact that it's going to be a quick knit and it's going to be a cheap knit, even though it's where I can splurge on, you know, very expensive yarns, because I know I'm only gonna need one skein, which is amazing. So I hope I gave you a few ideas on things that you could knit for the summer. Obviously this was only tops. There's other things, there's hats, there's bags, there's a bunch of things you could delve into. So write in the comment if there are any patterns that you would like to knit for this summer, or if you've knit some of the ones I've already talked about. And I will see you in a next video where we'll talk about the fibers. Happy knitting!